Hello friends, welcome to my biology class. Today we'll be discussing chapter 2nd of class 12, that is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Today's topic is fruit and seed. In this session we will learn the definition of fruit and seed. We'll learn the different types of fruit, classification of fruit. We'll learn the description of a seed. We'll learn the definition of parthenocarpy, apomixis and polyembryony. See this diagram. You can recall this diagram from our previous discussion. This is the pistil, stigma, style and ovary. Here you can find a large number of pollen grains on the stigma, some of them germinating, some of them non-germinating, and one of them we find which has germinated and has reached the ovule. It is entering into the ovule, into the embryo sac. The pollen grain, which was having three nuclei, of which two are the male nuclei and one is the tube cell. The tube cell leads, which is followed by the two male nuclei, and it enters into the embryo sac, and here double fertilization and triple fusion occurs, which we have discussed in our previous video. We have learned how this structure develops into two things. One is the endosperm and the other is the embryo. The zygote, the egg cell converts into zygote and the zygote develops into the embryo. Polar nuclei fuses to form secondary nucleus with a male nucleus, forms the primary endosperm nucleus and finally the endosperm. We can compare this structure, the ovary, after fertilization with the fruit. This is a fruit. This is a typical fruit. A typical fruit has three different portions. One is the endocarp, that is the innermost layer. Another is the mesocarp, that is the fleshy part. And other is the exocarp, or which is the outermost layer. These three layers forms the pericarp, or it is the fruit. The ovary develops into the fruit, and this fruit has three different regions. This is also exocarp, is also called as epicarp. This inner portion, or the embryo sac and with the ovule, this ovule forms the seed. So now this whole structure, that is the fruit, is the ripened ovary, and the seed inside is the mature ovule. This seed has different important parts. One is the endosperm, another is the embryo, and they are enclosed within the seed coat. This is the transition or transformation of the ovary into the fruit and ovule into the seed. Let us now study the types of fruit which we commonly understand. Number one, true fruits. What are true fruits? These are the fruit which develops from the ovary. For example, mango. In our daily life, we come across different fruits. Biologically, they are fruits, but in common we don't call them as fruits. The vegetables, most of the vegetables which we are eating, right from lady's finger, it can be gourd. We don't call them fruits, rather we call them vegetables. Whatever it is, biologically these are product of the ovary and they are all fruits. Another important term is false fruit. Now can you imagine that these very costly fruits like apple, strawberry, cashew, these are false fruits? Why do we call them false fruit? If we consider the definition of true fruits, we say that these fruit develop from the ovary. So any structure which develops from the ovary will be called as a true fruit. Then now the question is, in case of apple, strawberry, cashew and many other pears, how does it form? These fruit do not form from the ovary. Rather, the fleshy structure which we consume as a fruit is the thalamus. Here, instead of the ovary, it is the thalamus which develops to take the shape, is fleshy and edible. That is why these fruits are called as false fruit. Next we come to parthenocarpic fruits. Nowadays in the market we have seedless fruits. I hope you are already aware of seedless fruits. The banana, the grapes, do they have seeds? Yes, few species of grapes are available in the market which have seeds, but most of them are seedless. Similarly, in banana, most of the banana varieties which is available in the market are seedless because these are developed through application of plant hormones. Now the question is, which part of the flower develops into the fruits? Of course, it is again that it is the ovary. It is the ovary. Then how is it different from true fruits? In true fruits, actually, it is the act of fertilization. Here, there is no fertilization. Since there is no fertilization, no seeds are formed because seed is the product of fertilization. Since there are no seeds formed, these are called as seedless fruits or also called as parthenocarpic fruits. Now see these three photographs. This is the true fruit. All of us know all these three. This one is cashew, a false fruit, and the grape, which is called as parthenocarpic fruits. Now we come to classification. This is a very detailed structure of the different types of fruits, though it is not required for this class, but just to give you an idea that fruit itself is a very descriptive subject. We consider fruit, but we don't know how vast it is. Fruit itself can be a chapter. Now let us first classify. We'll just try to understand in very brief. Fruits are of three different types: simple fruit, aggregate fruit, and composite fruit. Simple fruits can be dry fruit and succulent fruit. Now here, don't confuse with the social term of dry fruits. Very commonly in our daily life we use the term dry fruit, but the dry fruit which we use in our daily time is actually dried fruits. It is not dry fruit, it is dried fruits. It was the succulent fruits which has been dried, or some other. It can be from other groups also. They were fleshy, they were juicy, they had been dried, and now it is a dried fruit. It is not dry fruit as per the biological classification of fruit. These dry fruits can be dehiscent type, indehiscent type, and schizographic type. We are not going to go into details of it. Dehiscent types, there are several types of dehiscent types. Follicle, siliqua, legume, pod, and capsule. Similarly, in dehiscent types, similarly there are different types of schizographic fruits. We will study this much in details in our higher classes. Similarly, simple fruit. Most of the fruit which we prefer is simple fruit and succulent type. Succulent means they are fleshy, they are juicy. These fruits which come under this area, they are not juicy. Of course, they have pericarp, but it is not juicy. But these fruits are all juicy fruits. Next group is the itario or the aggregates, and finally is the composite fruit or the multiple fruits. We will just understand these three terms. First is simple fruit. Whom to call a simple fruit? Any fruit which develops from a single or compound ovary but with only one pistil. It can be a single ovary or a compound ovary, doesn't matter, but there will be only one pistil. This will be called as a simple fruit. In case of aggregate fruit, what happens? This fruit develops from merged several ovaries of a single flower. Such flower has several carpels. So as many number of carpels, so many number of ovaries. Each ovary has single ovule, so each ovary develops into a single seed. See the example of strawberry or custard apple. These are called as aggregate fruits. Next is composite or multiple fruit. Here the fruit is completely different because it develops from an inflorescence. In this too, however, the flower develops into the fruit. But here it is the whole inflorescence. So many flowers here develops into a composite structure. That is a multiple fruit. These fruits, since there are several fruits formed, these fruits are actually a single mass of many fruits. For example, if you see the structure of a jackfruit, if you cut open a jackfruit, you will find various or a series of round structures which are actually flowers developed into the fruits. With this we come to an end on discussion of the fruits. Now let us see what a seed is. Seed is a fertilized ovule. A seed has an embryo and cotyledons which is enclosed within some protective covering. There are certain typical terms for this: testa and tegmen. Some seeds have one cotyledon and some have two cotyledons. In our previous discussion, we saw that plants are classified as monocot plants and dicot plants. So the number of cotyledons in the seed can also form a basis of plant classification or classification in angiosperms. So there is a seed coat, cotyledon, embryo and endosperm in the seed. Naturally, In the previous slide we have seen how the fruit and seeds are formed. In angiosperms, the ovary contains the ovules, and after fertilization, the fruits are formed from the ovary and seeds are formed from the ovule. Naturally, seeds are found inside the fruits. This thing doesn't occur in gymnosperms. In gymnosperms, such closed seeds are not found, that is, fruit is not formed. Mature seeds may be albuminous or exalbuminous. What are these terms? Albuminous seeds are those seeds which can retain a part of the endosperm. That means in these types of seeds, the embryo does not consume the total endosperm. So certain part is retained. This is found in wheat, maize and barley. Exalbuminous or non-albuminous seeds. These seeds, they do not retain the endosperm. That means the whole of the endosperm is consumed by the developing embryo. Such type of seed can be found in pea and groundnut. But there are certain seeds like black pepper and beet where there is remnant of the nucellus. This persistent nucellus is called as perisperm. Here you see these are some monocot greens, that is maize grain. This is the structure of a monocot seed. In monocot seed, here the pericarp, that is the fruit wall, is fused with the seed coat. There is aleurone layer, there is the endosperm and the scutellum with coleoptile plumule and coleorhiza and radicle. So this is the structure of a typical maize seed, and this is a monocot seed, these are dicot seed. Next come to one important discussion on apomixis and polyembryony. What is apomixis? It is the development of reproductive propagule without meiosis and syngamy. Till now, whatever you have studied is the formation of seed. Seed also is a reproductive propagule but is a product of meiosis and syngamy. But here we will study some reproductive propagule which is sexually produced and is known as agamospermy or apomixis. Since it is formed without any syngamy, this is a type of asexual reproduction. So here no fertilization takes place. There are different methods to produce apomictic seeds. Let us study a few of them. Number 1, adventative embryony. What happens here? Here there is a formation of embryo from any diploid cell of nucellus or integument, and this embryo is pushed into the embryo sac for further development. I think it is clear. So any diploid cell of the nucellus or integument can develop into an embryo, and that embryo is finally pushed into the embryo sac, and then the embryo develops, commonly found in citrus, mango, onion, etc. Next is parthenogenesis, parthenocarpy and parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis, that is, here the female gamete, that is the egg, that directly develops into the embryo without any fertilization taking place. This is called as parthenogenesis. Third is apospory. Now this is a typical case which can happen when a diploid embryo sac is formed. Normally the embryo sac is haploid. But such a embryo sac having diploid chromosomes is possible when the diploid megaspore mother cell does not undergo meiosis. When it undergoes meiosis, it forms haploid megaspore, which is the normal process. And the haploid megaspore develops into haploid ovule or embryo sac. It forms a haploid embryo sac. That is commonly seen. But if it so happens that the megaspore mother cell did not undergo meiosis, so its diploid status remained, and later on itself developed into the embryo sac, then it is called as apospory. Next is apogamy. Any cell of the embryo sac other than the egg cell, if it develops into an embryo, then it will be called as apogamy. In the embryo sac, all are product of sexual reproduction, and they have come from the megaspore mother cell undergoing meiosis. But here what happens? Other than the egg is the female gamete. So other than the egg, any other cell, there are so many different types of cells inside the embryo sac. If it develops into an embryo, then it will be called as an apogamy. Here there is no fusion or fertilization. So these are the different types of apoplectic seed production methods. Now we come to polyembryony. The term itself says poly means many, embryony means embryo development. That is, normally one embryo in a seed is to be developed, but there are cases where a large number of embryo is developed within the seed. This is very commonly found in orange, lemon, groundnut, etc. Polyembryony may be the result of many, but we will discuss only a few. Number one, it may so happen that more than one pollen tube enters the embryo sac and fertilizes the synergids and antipodal cells along with the egg. So all of these forms embryos and results into polyembryony. Second case is, it may so happen that more than one embryo sac is developed in an ovule. Normally one is supposed to be developed, but in case more than one develops and all the ovules are fertilized, then there will be a large number of embryos developing within that seed. Number 3, presence of more than one egg. Normally there is one egg, but for any reason, if there are more than one egg inside the embryo sac, and if all the eggs are fertilized, then that will result into polyembryony. We have discussed only 3 such, but there are many other reasons. Now we have some problem with hybrid seeds. What is this? Hybrid seeds have to be produced every year. Why? Suppose a farmer starts or thinks that why should I buy the seeds every year? Rather, I will collect the harvest, preserve it, next year I will sow it. Then what will happen? As a student of biology, we must try to understand this. That is, if these seeds are collected from hybrids and are sown in the next year, then the progeny will segregate and they will not maintain the hybrid characters. That means the yield and quality which we are expecting, that we will not get, and the farmer will be at loss. Production of hybrid seed is costly, and hence the cost of hybrid seeds becomes too expensive for the farmers. That is true. Then what to do? If we can make these hybrid seeds into apomixed, because apomixed are asexual products, then there is no question of segregation of characters in the hybrid progeny. If we can convert them into apomixed, then we will not require to buy hybrid seeds everywhere. But it is not so easy task. With this, such hybrid seeds, the farmer will not have to buy the hybrid seeds every year and they can get more profit. This part has been taken from the NCERT book of Class 12 Biology. Now we are coming to the end of this discussion. Before I leave, here are some important terms for you. Hope you can recall these: false fruit, parthenocarpic fruit, perisperm, polyembryony, apomixis, X-albuminous seed, pericarp, and mesocarp. So you can write the meaning of these terms. It will be helpful to you. And finally, we have for you some take-home questions. Number 1. Distinguish between true fruit and false fruit, true seed and apomictic seed. Explain the transformation of ovary into a fruit. How the ovary is converted into a fruit. Draw and label the structure of a monocot seed. How do polyembryony occur? And last is discuss the problems in using hybrid seeds. How can apomixis be a solution to the problem? These are some of the questions for you. Please do write down their answers. And before I leave, again I must remind you that we have completed chapter number 2. We are entering now into chapter number 3, human reproduction. So please check out for our video lessons on the next chapter, human reproduction. And thank you very much for being with me during this session.